Hello, I'm John Hemingway. Welcome back to Shropshire. Now, after a recent video, somebody commented you should make a video about the dangers of handling sheep if you are pregnant. And I think the dangers associated with that are probably quite well known, but it might be the case that not everybody is aware of them. So let's consolidate that information here today. It's a good idea. And this is relevant to me as well, because I'm often handling sheep that are aborting or have recently aborted or are just ill. And then I'm going home wearing the same clothes to my wife who is currently pregnant. So this is relevant to all of us. Give me a couple of minutes of your time and we will go through it. Okay, so let's begin. This is going to be quite a short video because it's quite a clear-cut topic. We'll start by talking about enzootic abortion. Now, enzootic abortion is a bacterial disease and it transmits sheep to sheep. An infected sheep incubates this bacteria until late pregnancy, at which point it's highly likely to abort. The bacteria is found in the aborted lamb, in the placenta, and in all the fluids that come out along with it. It's that infects other ewes when they come and sniff around the aborted lamb, then they incubate and go on to abort the following year. So this is a sheep to sheep disease, and unfortunately people can get caught up in that transmission chain. Enzootic abortion is caused by a type of chlamydia bacteria, and as a pregnant person, if you ingest that bacteria from having handled or been near aborted lambs or abortion fluids or the placenta, then that poses a serious risk to your own pregnancy. So not only should you not be going near those materials, but you should also not be handling the clothes of other people that have been doing those jobs or handling those dead lambs or aborted materials, because they could also be carrying the bacteria on them. Now, it's easy enough to say don't deal with abortions, but of course abortions aren't the only place that we find this bacteria. Ewes that have aborted can continue to shed this bacteria for several weeks, at least 3 weeks after the abortion has taken place. Ewes that are incubating enzootic abortion can also shed small numbers of chlamydia during the estrus cycle in the autumn, and we may have persistently infected ewes that shed larger numbers throughout the year. Realistically, the existence of enzootic abortion as a disease makes it justifiable to say that as a pregnant woman, you really shouldn't be handling sheep at all. Now, I know that is often easier said than done if you are an integral part of your sheep farm, but please do think about what is at stake if you do ingest this bacteria. Now, it's natural to think, well, I vaccinate against this disease, so my sheep shouldn't be carrying it. And unfortunately, that doesn't entirely mitigate the risk. Yes, if you're vaccinating your flock and you've been vaccinating it for a number of years, then you're going to have vastly reduced shedding. You shouldn't really have incubating ewes. There should not be a high risk, and you shouldn't be having abortions that are attributable to enzootic. However, the fact that the flock is vaccinated does not mean that that bacteria may not still be present or being shed in low numbers from some ewes. So unfortunately, the fact that you vaccinate your flock doesn't mitigate the risk enough to say, yes, it's okay for you as a pregnant woman to be working alongside lambing ewes. Now, toxoplasma is the other disease we all know about, and yes, it can cause abortion in women, but the difference is this: you do not catch toxoplasma from sheep. Toxoplasma is usually a disease that circulates between cats and mice. A cat eats an infected mouse, the toxoplasma then gets amplified within the cat, it's shed in the cat feces, which the mouse then comes into contact with. Sheep accidentally get involved in this life cycle by taking the part of the mouse. They come into contact with the cat feces almost always because there's some form of contamination of feed, whether it's concentrate or forage. They go on to contract the disease, and that compromises their pregnancy. Toxoplasma does not subsequently spread from sheep to sheep via the aborted lamb. And as you'll probably know, it's more often that we get early embryonic death with toxoplasma than actual late-term abortion. So where do people fit into Toxoplasma? Well, you can also accidentally take the part of the mouse in the life cycle. If you come into contact with contaminated cat feces, that is how you could contract this disease. Now, if you've got a house cat that does not catch mice, that cat is not presenting a risk to you. But if you have farm cats that are constantly hunting, particularly if they are adolescent and just starting to hunt, those are the animals that could be shedding Toxoplasma in high numbers. And you should avoid handling them and anything that could be contaminated with their feces until you're no longer pregnant. Now, there are other organisms which cause abortion in sheep which may also endanger human pregnancy, but there's no point in covering them here because the bottom line is, as long as we have enzootic abortion in the UK flock, that is sufficient justification to say that pregnant women should be nowhere near lambing ewes and ideally nowhere near sheep at all for the duration of the pregnancy. And again, I know that is easy for me to say when you are a farmer and you have to deal with these things, but I would urge you to do what you can to mitigate the risk. Think of what could be at stake if you were to take on that bacteria and endanger your pregnancy. So you were probably mainly aware of those risks, but there's no harm in putting that information together in one place, consolidating it, and perhaps spreading it a little bit more. Perhaps there's something there that you've learned. I hope that's been useful. I know it's a short video. I will be along with another one very soon, and I do hope to see you there. Bye.